Nazi Nobel Prize. In 1939, a surprising event occurred when Adolf Hitler, known for his aggressive policies and the leader of Nazi Germany, was nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize. This nomination, made by a Swedish legislator, was not serious. It was meant as a joke. However, it didn't go over well. Instead of laughter, it led to widespread outrage, leading to the quick withdrawal of the nomination. The reaction to this incident involves Karl von Ossietzky, a German journalist and an outspoken critic of Hitler. He was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 1936 for his courage in opposing Nazism. This move by the Nobel Committee was a direct slap in the face to Hitler and his regime, perceived by them as an insult. In retaliation, Hitler banned all Germans from accepting any Nobel Prize. He established the German National Prize for Art and Science as an alternative to honor achievements without relying on international recognition. This ban impacted German Nobel laureates during the Nazi era, who had to reject their Nobel Prizes, although they were later quietly given their medals and diplomas. The Death Conspiracy. Adolf Hitler's death on April 30, 1945, is a subject surrounded by certainty and skepticism. As the Allies closed in and Germany faced defeat, Hitler ended his life in his bunker in Berlin. Alongside him, Eva Braun, his new wife, also ended her life. They followed Hitler's orders to burn their bodies after death. This account of Hitler's demise is broadly accepted. However, conspiracy sprouted instantly. The Soviet Union fueled these rumors. Initially, Soviet officials said they couldn't confirm Hitler's death. Later, they suggested he might still be alive, perhaps shielded by Western nations. When US President Harry Truman asked about Hitler, Joseph Stalin, the Soviet leader, admitted he was unsure about Hitler's fate. Later discoveries seemed to provide answers. Soviet forces reportedly found Hitler's charred remains, confirmed by dental records. These remains were secretly buried, then dug up again, cremated, and the ashes scattered in 1970. A piece of skull, found in 1946 with a gunshot wound, was preserved. These findings did little to quiet public doubt. In 2009, researchers tested the skull fragment and declared it belonged to a woman, not Hitler. This revelation reignited debates about how Hitler truly met his end. The drug user. Adolf Hitler, despite promoting a healthy Aryan race, had a complex personal health regimen. He was known to avoid alcohol and tobacco and followed a vegetarian diet, aligning with the Nazi Party's push for health-conscious living. Yet, his lifestyle had a dark side involving heavy drug use. Starting around 1941, Hitler's personal doctor, Theodor Morell, began administering him a cocktail of potent drugs. These included oxycodone, methamphetamine, morphine, and even cocaine. Drug use wasn't limited to Hitler. It permeated the Nazi Party. Nazi soldiers frequently received methamphetamine to enhance their endurance and aggression during battles. As Hitler's life neared its end, he started experiencing noticeable tremors. While some believed these were symptoms of Parkinson's disease, others thought they might be due to drug withdrawal, especially as these substances became scarce in the final days of the war. Art gallery. Adolf Hitler's artistic ambitions didn't fade after his early rejections. They intensified as he rose to power. Originally, he had tried and failed to make a career in art, facing rejection from the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. Living in poverty, he attempted to sell his artwork, but with little success. However, once he became the Führer, his interest in art took on a dark dimension. Hitler admired the classical art of ancient Greece and Rome, praising its idealized forms. However, he detested modern art movements like Impressionism, Cubism, and Dada, which he dismissed as degenerate. In the 1930s, under his directive, the Nazis purged German museums of such modern artworks. Artists like Paul Klee, Pablo Picasso, Wilhelm Leimbruch, and Emil Nold were particularly targeted. Their works were displayed in a 1937 exhibition across multiple cities, labeled as products of decadence associated with Bolsheviks and Jews. During World War II, Hitler orchestrated a massive theft of artworks from across Europe. His ultimate prize was the Ghent altarpiece, a masterpiece he planned to display in the Führer Museum in Linz, Austria. The Fire Chancellor. In January 1933, Adolf Hitler was appointed Chancellor of Germany, setting the stage for his rise to absolute power. His ambitions extended beyond this role, and an event soon facilitated his consolidation of power. On February 27, 1933, the Reichstag, Germany's parliamentary building, was set ablaze and severely damaged. A communist was blamed and convicted for the fire, but suspicions of Nazi involvement lingered, although never confirmed. Hitler quickly capitalized on the situation. The very next day, he managed to suspend civil liberties, citing the fire as evidence of a major security threat. This move silenced his opposition significantly. During the elections that followed in March, the Nazis and their political allies won a majority in the Reichstag. This majority proved crucial on March 23, 1933, when the Reichstag passed the Enabling Act, effectively handing Hitler dictatorial powers. His consolidation of power was completed in August 1934, following the death of President Paul von Hindenburg. A public vote merged the positions of Chancellor and President, creating the new role of Führer und Reichskanzler, leader and Chancellor. This vote officially made Hitler the sole leader of Germany, with unprecedented control. The banned bestseller. In 1924, Adolf Hitler was imprisoned for high treason. During his time in jail, he began writing Mein Kampf, My Struggle, a book that would later be regarded as one of the most dangerous ever written. Published in 2 volumes in 1925 and 1927, the book outlines Hitler's life and his deeply racist ideology. He describes becoming a fanatical anti-Semite during his years in Vienna. Initially, Mein Kampf did not sell well, but as Hitler's and the Nazi Party's influence grew, so did the book's popularity. It became a fundamental text for National Socialism, turning into required reading across Germany. By 1939, over 5 million copies had been sold. After World War II and Hitler's death, Mein Kampf was banned in Germany and several other countries. The copyright was held by the state of Bavaria, which refused to allow its publication. However, the book remained available outside Germany, and in 2016, it entered the public domain when the copyright expired. Shortly afterward, a heavily annotated version was published in Germany for the first time since 1945, quickly becoming a bestseller. World War I. Adolf Hitler's military service during World War I played a significant role in shaping his future persona. When he died by suicide in 1945, he was wearing the Iron Cross First Class Medal, a decoration he earned during the war and highly cherished. Hitler often portrayed himself as a wartime hero, highlighting his bravery and hardships. However, recent research casts doubt on the authenticity of Hitler's heroic war stories. Some historians argue that he saw little, if any, actual combat. They suggest that instead of serving on the front lines, he was primarily a runner at the Safer Regiment headquarters. Hitler was injured during the First Battle of the Somme in 1916 and later claimed to have been blinded temporarily by a mustard gas attack in 1918. However, documents from that time suggest his blindness may have been hysterical, indicating a psychological rather than physical origin. He was still recovering from this condition when Germany surrendered. Interestingly, his Iron Cross First Class citation does not specify any particular act of bravery. This omission has led some researchers to speculate that the medal was awarded more for his length of service and his ability to get along with his superiors. Notably, it was Hugo Gutmann, a Jewish lieutenant, who recommended Hitler for this honor, further complicating the narrative of his military heroism. Hitler's alternate name. Adolf Hitler's original last name could have been Schicklgruber or even Hiedler. His father, Alois, was initially born with his mother, Maria Anna Schicklgruber's surname, because he was born out of wedlock. Many years later, around the age of 40, Alois decided to change his last name. He chose to adopt the surname of his stepfather, Johann Georg Hiedler, who was also rumored to be his biological father. In the process of changing his name, it was recorded as Hitler instead of Hiedler, although no one knows exactly why the spelling changed. Alois Hitler had been married twice and had multiple children before he married Clara Pölzl, who became Adolf's mother. Together, Alois and Clara had 6 children, but only Adolf and one sister survived into adulthood. Adolf had a strained relationship with his father, who died in 1903. In contrast, he had a very close relationship with his mother, whose death from breast cancer in 1907 deeply affected him.